Okay, we're almost ready to get into the main content part of this thing. It's been a lot of lead up to it. I get that. Sorry. But before we get into that, I want to talk about really quickly just 4 small things that are worth keeping in mind as you talk and give your presentation. The first, really, it's a pair. So the first 2 are the call forward and the call back. A call forward is anytime, and you'll see me do this even in these short videos. A call forward is where I have something that I either mention it or it's on screen on a slide or whatever, and it's there, and I say, and there's also, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get into that in just a minute. That's a call forward. That says to the audience, okay, open up a loop in your head. Here's a placeholder. We're going to talk about this thing. Dean's going to talk about this thing, not right this second, but he's going to get to it. So when he gets to it, you'll know what it is because he's already told you. He called forward in time to future Dean and future you, audience member, and we're going to deal with that in the future. A call back is where I get to that thing. And then I say, I mentioned a few minutes ago about blah, blah, blah. Let's get into that. Blah, blah, blah is whatever. So then that closes the loop for the audience. They say, okay, once he's finished talking about this, I no longer have to wonder or think about or keep in my mind at all what that was. The beauty of the call forward is that it measurably increases the audience's attention rate. And then the beauty of the call back is that it's a setup and payoff. In script writing terms and movie terms, it's a setup and payoff. In the beginning or early in the movie, someone talks about how Jane has been learning karate, and then 90 minutes later, Jane accidentally gets attacked, or she's with her friends, and lo and behold, good thing Jane knows karate, and she beats the bejesus out of him and saves her friend. So that's a setup and a payoff. A call forward and a callback in webinars is basically the same thing. You're setting them up by letting them know something is coming, and then when you get there, you do it. You dispense with it. You handle it. You pay it off. That's the callback. Audiences find this very satisfying. I find it very satisfying. It's also, as a speaker, a fantastic way to demonstrate that you're in control of your material and your pacing, because you know what's coming up and you're able to tell them, I'm so good at this. I don't even rely on the order the slides are in. I know what I'm going to say. And so here's something I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But first, I'm going to talk about this thing. Either it'll help us understand the thing that's coming up, or the other thing is really just belongs in the other place. We'll get to that then. And then it's almost like everything's at your fingertips and you're controlling the pacing and the content of the whole thing. It's great. Audiences love speakers who are in control of their material. Audiences love setup and payoff, and you open the loop and then close the loop for them. It's fantastic. Not related to call forwards and callbacks is a concept called the interstitial. An interstitial works like this. You say something on one or more slides. First, the industry was comprised of these 3 main companies, startups that started at the same time. They're all working on blah, blah, blah. We joined that, fray and got into it. Then the market started expanding. Challenges came, blah, 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 blah. It became clear that one company was going to emerge as the preferred vendor for specialty paint manufacturers. And then the very next slide says, we are not that company. Now, that's basically a pivot. It's a hard stop. An interstitial slide, by the way, is usually just a completely blank background, no photography or anything. We talked in another module about, some slides you won't have photos, and that's the exception. And one of the point is that have a stark message by making that the exception. You just have a black background or whatever your main color is, right? Just plain. And then just that short little sentence. We are not that company. That is not what we do. That didn't work. Whatever. So any kind of pivot where the audience thinks that you're about to say something, to put a bow on it, and then you go I'm over here. Completely different. I pivoted and I'm going in this direction. Or it all fell apart. It's fantastic for audience attention. An interstitial, don't like anything, right? Just because some is good doesn't mean that lots is better, more is better, or a lot is great. So you might only use one interstitial per webinar. You might only use one interstitial, every year for all I know. But the interstitial's job is it's a pattern interrupt. Oh, he said this, and he said A, and he said B, And he said, C. So the next thing's obviously 7 or the color blue. Like, whoa, what happened? Like, what? You break the pattern. And by disrupting or breaking the pattern of what they think you're going to do, then all of a sudden audience attention spikes up again because something novel has just happened. And God bless them, human brains really, really, really love and crave novelty. And so you putting an interstitial in there, like just like you slam on the brakes for the pattern that you were establishing, then you go, nope, not happening. And then you go off in something else. Fantastic for audience attention. If you have the kind of pattern or story where you can do that, we were adding this feature that became very popular. Then we added on this other feature, sort of a derivative of it that became very popular. And then we added this one, and then people stopped buying, or nobody used it, or whatever. 2 years work wasted, just like that. And it's like, wait, what? What did he say? What? That happened, or that didn't happen, or the pattern's been interrupted? Audiences love it. I absolutely recommend using it. And then there's one other concept, and this goes by a couple of different names. Sometimes it's called an audio call to screen. It's basically just you understand that at some point, some portion of your audience has drifted away from the screen. They're listening to you, but they're not looking at what they should be looking at. But you have a slide or a point, or this is sort of a variation of an interstitial, but it's audio, audio only, supported by a visual. So here's how it works. Let's say that you understand some portion of the audience at this point has drifted away. So you don't do this in even the first third, but maybe around the halfway point. You want to get a lot of the audience back looking at the screen. So you put something on screen and you refer to the thing that's on screen, but you do not say what's on screen. Here's like some simple or cheesier examples of that. Let's say that you've got a workflow diagram, or you've got a pie chart or something, right? And the pie chart is broken up and it's color coded. And, like all companies, we do, this and we do that. We have this widget and we do that widget. And then you say something like, we make all of our, and the other ones you've said, it's widget A and it's widget B and it's service A and service B. And then you say, but honestly, we make all of our money in the red section right here. And then you just shut up for a few seconds. Now, anyone looking at the screen, you pausing, well, they know what the red section is because they're looking at the screen, and you pausing, they think that's just you giving them a chance to really understand the importance of the red section, which they're looking at. Anyone not looking at the screen, suddenly, like, there's a gap. It's like, wait, what did he just talk about? What did he mean they make all their money there? I don't understand. And they come back to the screen. I mean, it's not 100%, but you can get a lot of people back to your screen by doing an audio call to screen like that. Other examples are, I bet everyone knows, or I bet everyone recognizes the person in this photograph. You don't say who's in the photograph. Everyone looking at it knows. In fact, you can even put the person's name on the slide along with the photograph. You don't say it though. And then the people who are like checking their email, it's like, wait, what photograph? And then they come back to see who did it. So, everyone will recognize this person. You just can't say everyone will recognize this. It could theoretically work, but it's not very compelling. But everyone will recognize this face. Everyone will recognize this person. Everyone will recognize this dress. Everyone here recognizes this logo. We make all our money here. Whenever we fail, it's in this part of the project right here. Anything that you say like that, feel free to show it. But anyone who's not looking at the screen understands that what you just said, plus the pause, means that it's important, but they don't know why it's important, and they go to look. Curiosity is a very powerful force for audiences. So using those 4 things, call forward, call back, the interstitial, and the audio call to screen to get people back to looking at the screen, great ways to spike audience attention. And again, it's like a little bit of a speed hit. You just don't like hit it over and over and over, or it will lose its effectiveness, or people will stop trusting you. But use the call forwards and call backs as much as you want. Use the interstitials sparingly, and use the audio call to screen no more than once per presentation in order to get people back for the most important slide that you want to talk to them about. And that's how you do that.